Chapter 79. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Uchiha Manye's words were quite tempting, but Orochimaru was tempted, but not yet. He got carried away and acted like a fool and directly destroyed Uchiha Manye's makeshift team. It's easy to say that it will overthrow Konoha, but if Orochimaru, who was once in power in this group, wants to do it, he has too many say. Destruction is always easier than creation. It's not easy to build an empire, and it may not be easy to keep it either. Orochimaru hesitated. Seeing this, Uchiha Manye gave him the last chip to choose himself. Orochimaru, I have a way to help you pursue immortality. Listening to Manye's words, Orochimaru laughed. Immortality? Do you have a way? Orochimaru couldn't help shaking his head in his heart, secretly laughing at Uchiha Manye's ignorance and ridiculousness. He had been chasing for this for a long time, but he didn't dare to assert that he would succeed. Immortality is too vague. Even he, the scientist who has gone the furthest on the road of longevity in the ninja world, once thought that it was a joke. He was not laughing at the ignorance of the world, but laughing at Orochimaru himself, how overestimating his own abilities. The reincarnation of the corpse Orochimaru is in the process of development, just like the curse seal. He himself doesn't even know the complete technique yet, especially the technique of living corpse rebirth, which he still only has a concept of. Orochimaru already has some understanding of the existence of the soul. Practicing the impure world reincarnation is also a preparation to assist in the research and development of living corpse rebirth. The human body is too fragile. Birth, aging, sickness and death cannot be avoided even by the strongest beings in the world like the first generation and Uchiha Madara, let alone him. Flesh and blood are all suffering, only the soul is eternal. The more Orochimaru evolves towards the crazy Frankenstein, the more he believes in mechanical immortality. The body is just a carrier, and the root of human existence is the soul. Uchiha Manye, do you have the ability to help me? Orochimaru raised his eyebrows with interest. I hope you are not bragging to me. Uchiha Manye activated the Samsara Eye without keeping anyone in suspense. He did not completely trust Orochimaru in hiding the Magatama. It was normal for each other to keep some secrets. Orochimaru was the same. Although Uchiha Manye knew all of his research on him, for a strong man like him who had no sense of security, how could he show all his details to others? Samsara Eye, that I don't know how many times I've been shocked by Uchiha Manye today. No matter how many times Orochimaru told himself to stay calm, every time Uchiha Manye brought out chips, it was far beyond his expectations. The legendary sages Orochimaru had a fanatical look on his face. If he hadn't retained some sanity, he would have pounced on Manye. The legend of the Six Paths Sage is not unfamiliar to ninjas, and for a family inheritance, the word sage represents too many things. Until now, Orochimaru figured out where Uchiha Manye's confidence in boasting was. The Rinnegan, what a charming dizzy outline. Orochimaru was obsessed and couldn't control himself, wanting to touch it. Manye is such a smart person, and the moment Orochimaru's brain was out of control, he cautiously pulled a long distance away. Orochimaru, what have you considered? Uchiha Manye had to remind him. Otherwise, given Orochimaru's current crazy look, let alone running away, he might even want to live with him. Don't get me wrong, Orochimaru has no interest in men. To be more precise, he is not even interested in women. He can only show such an obsessed look when he is curious about unknown things. Orochimaru will completely lose his mind. Can you get on the operating table? Why are you still considering it? The sage's eye is right in front of you. Konoha, what the hell, is immortality not good enough? Or is it a loss of face? Konoha is the most important thing for Orochimaru in his life. How can it be compared with it? Uchiha Manye once again, without leaving a trace, pulled half a street away from Orochimaru. To read the exciting novels, go to Falun Novel Network. Today was the first time I doubted my judgment. Why did I go to Orochimaru, a madman, when I had nothing else to do? As the saying goes, you don't have to worry about thieves stealing, you have to worry about thieves thinking about it, especially when the thief who is thinking about him is Orochimaru. No one can stand this. It's okay if you don't want to, just give me a drop of blood every month. Orochimaru was stubborn, his throat was dry, and he licked the corner of his mouth with his tongue. Konoha. After the injury is healed, I will be at your service. The Samsara Eye and the scene of destroying Sarutobi Hiruzen in the future completely made Orochimaru lose all his worries. Thinking of his former mentor, who would be stepped on by him one day, Orochimaru was excited. Sarutobi Hiruzen, I will prove how wrong your choice will be. The valley outside Konoha Village 0, Sarutobi Hiruzen escaped with injuries. Danzo hesitated whether to go up and give Sarutobi Hiruzen one more stab. Orochimaru's defection was undoubtedly a heavy blow to Sarutobi Hiruzen's prestige. How could Danzo miss this opportunity? As for killing Sarutobi Hiruzen, what Danzo wanted was not Sarutobi Hiruzen's body, but this guy kneeling in front of him and admitting his failure in person. Danzo had lost his whole life. Before he got his place back, he would not allow anyone to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. In the valley, Uchiha Manye and Sarutobi Hiruzen fought. Don't look at him as if it had nothing to do with him and he was hanging his head high. In fact, he was more anxious than anyone else. After Sarutobi Hiruzen fled back to the village to recuperate, Danzo took the time to embellish the good things Orochimaru had done several times, and let the root ninja spread it to the whole village. It was also specifically pointed out that the reason why Orochimaru was able to escape by chance was all due to the softness of his former teacher. Danzo was also very familiar with the 5 elements great linking bullet technique, and had fought side by side with Sarutobi Hiruzen in the past. Although he was not present when Sarutobi Hiruzen and Orochimaru fought, it did not prevent Danzo from imagining the details of the fight. Orochimaru was not bad, but his opponent was too strong. If Sarutobi Hiruzen really wanted to catch Orochimaru, he would definitely have no hope of survival. Of course, the premise is that many would not interfere in the duel between the master and the apprentice. Konoha was in turmoil, and Danzo's adding fuel to the fire undoubtedly provided the best 3.7 heart-piercing sword for the small and medium-sized families below. Although the 4th generation has already taken office, the power is still firmly in the hands of Sarutobi Hiruzen. This wave of Orochimaru's defection is undoubtedly a timely reign for the small and medium-sized families, who are worried about not having a reason to attack Sarutobi Hiruzen. The details of the human experiment were exposed one by one. The death list of the families of the missing villagers was posted on the Konoha notice board. How many of them were actually attacked by Orochimaru, and no one wants to know now, they just want to vent. The truth about the villagers' disappearance in recent days has been exposed, which means that they no longer need to live in fear in the future, whether it is true or false. As long as Orochimaru leaves, no more villagers disappear inexplicably. Chapter 80. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the incident broke out, countless Konoha villagers took to the streets with high spirits, forcing Sarutobi Hiruzen to give an explanation. Now the public is indignant, and no one knows what people can do when their brains are hot. Shimura Danzo was also happy to see this scene. In order to prevent any ninja from disrupting the order, he also specially sent the root ninja to the streets to protect the parade. After fighting with Sarutobi Hiruzen for so many years, Shimura Danzo is the first time today that he has lived so well. Shimura Danzo is shameless and secretly trips him up, and the Konoha clan is not a vegetarian. What exactly is the human experiment? The people of Konoha don't know, but how can they not know the details? Orochimaru can have what he has today, and it is inevitable that he has been in cahoots with you, Shimura Danzo. Now you have turned around and come to pretend to be a good person. What have you been doing before? The Konoha clan forces that support Orochimaru to come to power. Don't look at the 4th generation election meeting. Let Sarutobi Hiruzen stab in the back. It means falling out. In politics, there are no so-called enemies. There are only eternal interests. Soon, after the details of the battle between Orochimaru and his apprentice were revealed, an exclusive news about Shimura Danzo quietly became popular throughout the village. When it comes to fishing boat battles, they have never been afraid of anyone. How did the 05 Konoha White Fang die? Shimura Danzo, have you forgotten? The two groups fought fiercely. After the short essay about Shimura Danzo teaming up with Orochimaru to persecute innocent villagers of Konoha came out, the parade team immediately split into two groups. They headed toward Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo's route. This time, Shimura Danzo really lifted a rock and shot himself in the foot. Hokage building. Minato sat in the Hokage position with a bald face. Since he took this position, he has not been able to smile for a single day. What is going on every day? When Orochimaru suddenly entrusted his son to Minato, he noticed something was wrong, but at that time, he didn't think much about it, just thought that Orochimaru was tired and planned to go out of the village to travel like his teacher, who would have thought that he would turn around and make big news for him. Human experiment. Orochimaru must have known how taboo this was, but he still did it anyway. Uncle Master. Did you really do these things? That looking at the photos of children from Orochimaru's Valley Laboratory, everyone couldn't bear the strange appearance of Hashirama's cells, which were transformed into neither human nor tree. Minato couldn't help but sigh. Not only that, Orochimaru would let him off, but Sarutobi Hiruzen also didn't let him feel at ease. He let him go, but why did he give it back and broadcast it live? This matter was so chaotic that Minato wanted to suppress it, but he couldn't do it. After all, he was a generation of Hokage. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen retired, he was not someone who could be bullied by some cats and dogs. In the end, it was Shimura Danzo. This guy did it so well that Minato didn't know what to say. He had been fighting with his master all his life, and he was willing to involve himself in this mess to pull Sarutobi Hiruzen down. Water. It is truly a deep love. When many returned to the village, the parade had reached an exaggerated size. Tens of thousands of people lined up in a long queue, surrounding the route and Sarutobi Hiruzen's residence in 3 circles inside and 3 circles outside. People are strong and courageous. As long as the number of people in the parade is large enough, under the atmosphere of the scene, more and more people who don't want to get involved will join in. This time, they didn't suffer any losses, and no one was missing at home. But what about next time? Who can guarantee that Orochimaru won't come back? Especially in the context that Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is known as the Doctor of Ninjutsu and the strongest Hokage in the world, failed to catch Orochimaru. It is hard for people not to think too much, although there are Shimura group Zong deceive people, saying that it was Sarutobi Hiruzen who let Orochimaru escape, but many people saw Sarutobi Hiruzen being carried back to the village with injuries. Now the news has not spread. If Minato doesn't come up with some useful countermeasures by this time tomorrow, Orochimaru will definitely be the crying child of the whole Konoha. Everyone who talked about it changed color, and in a few years, Orochimaru's name will become a taboo in the rumors of the villagers of Konoha. But these have little to do with Uchiha Manye. Hatake Sakumo's soul was left to Orochimaru. In the research of impure world reincarnation, Orochimaru still needs Hatake Sakumo's help. To read the exciting novels, go to Fulu Novels Net. Uchiha Manye came back this time because he wanted to go back to the clan and see if the Uchiha family had any heritage or secret bases left over from the Warring States period. It would not be a big deal to leave Orochimaru wandering outside. As for his future base, the Land of Grass, it is too far away. Konoha's current technological level is still in the era where people have to walk to travel and shout to communicate. There is electricity, so why don't they even have a telegraph? This technology tree is outrageous. Uchiha Manye was looking through information in the family library. Sarutobi Shimura Danzo, who was in Sarutobi Hiruzen's residence, woke up with the help of the medical ninjas of the Konoha hospital. Although his condition is not very good, he can already communicate with people normally. Cough. Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed and signaled the hospital ninja to leave. The medical ninja understood, said hello, and left one after another. In the Naruto world, not only is the technology tree biased, but the medical research is also the same. Palm Immortal Technique is a medical ninjutsu that accelerates cell division and achieves self-healing. Fortunately, they are ninjas. If it were an ordinary person, he would have lost 10 years of his life if he was hit twice more. Let Minato come over, I have something to tell him. Sarutobi Hiruzen said to the Umbu ninja hiding in the dark. A little smoke rose, and the Umbu in the house disappeared. Cough cough. The only sound in the empty house was Sarutobi Hiruzen's cough. In the Hokage building, after receiving the message from Sarutobi Hiruzen, Minato flashed and disappeared from the office. The next second, he appeared in Sarutobi Hiruzen's yard. There were too many people in Konoha outside, and as the fourth Hokage, Minato had to take care of many things. Who knows what would happen if he rashly appeared in public and knocked on Sarutobi Hiruzen's door. No one knew what Sarutobi Hiruzen and Minato talked about. All they knew was that after Minato left Sarutobi Hiruzen's house, he always had a smile on his face when he returned home. What benefits did Sarutobi Hiruzen give? How could Minato Namake's smile like this? The various families had different opinions, but no one could come to a definite conclusion. The next day, when the parade gathered again, accidents happened frequently. Either someone's things were stolen, or someone was taken advantage of, and the conflicts between them intensified. In the end, Minato had to bring the Umbun ninjas to suppress the order of the parade. Today, Minato Namake's went out with the Umbun ninjas, suppressing not only the parade team, but also the hearts of the various clans in Konoha. Umbu, when will you listen to the fourth Hokage? For the big clans, this is a very bad signal. For the small clans, they have been looking forward to it until their hair turned gray, and finally I have come to this day. Sarutobi Hiruzen is delegating power, and the fourth Hokage is taking over one by one. Orochimaru's blow to Sarutobi Hiruzen was really not small. But what happened on the day when Sarutobi Hiruzen chased Orochimaru? Except for some of the information disclosed by Shimura Danzo, Sarutobi Hiruzen kept the rest of the clues and information extremely secret. Chapter 81. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sarutobi Hiruzen's decentralization gave hope to the small clans. Orochimaru, you defected brilliantly. If I had known this would happen, it would not have been enough to lock up Orochimaru. Jiraiya and Tsunade, if they did not give Sarutobi Hiruzen the entire sect of 3 disciples, the master was kind and the son was filial, they would be sorry for Sarutobi Hiruzen's oppression for so many years. After Sarutobi Hiruzen came to power, the Sarutobi clan lived more and more comfortably. The consumption in the Second World War was all returned in the Third World War. The Sarutobi clan also ate a lot of compensation from the Shikoku ninja village. Of course, Sarutobi Hiruzen's sudden depression was not a one-day thing. After the Third World War, Tsunade and Jiraiya left the village one after another. And then Orochimaru's human experiments dealt a heavy blow to Sarutobi Hiruzen. It made him confused today, giving the fourth generation some opportunities. The parade went wrong, which successfully gave the fourth generation and various opportunities to intervene. The public grievances look horrible, but in fact, they are just that. They are dragged on until everyone forgets and the people of Konoha realize what they are doing. Who is Sarutobi Hiruzen? A generation of heroes. He has been through wind and rain, his hands are stained with blood throughout his life, and he has eaten more food than many people in the village in their lifetime. How could he take such a small matter to heart? During the whole parade, the fourth generation gained power. Sarutobi Hiruzen retained his reputation, and only Danzo was still being blocked by the parade detachment that was divided. Logically speaking, the people of Konoha have no chance to know where the routes are, but they can't help it. A family in the village acted as an insider and taught the parade team where the routes are and which road to take to get there the fastest. Danzo turned the table over and completely angered all the ninja families of Konoha. It's okay to fight among yourself at ordinary times, but calling the villagers of Konoha to make trouble, what do you want to do? If this is not Konoha, the tens of thousands of people outside are not enough for a small clan ninja to kill. There is not much difference between ordinary people and ninjas, not to say that there is a world of difference. The stronger the ninja, the greater the difference between him and ordinary people. Danzo's wave of death made some ordinary people with not very smart brains have some thoughts that they shouldn't have. At that time, it will be the ninjas from these small clans who will be the executioners. Outside Konoha, Uchiha Manye found a place suitable for studying Orochimaru's manuscript from the family's ancient books. This was once a temporary shelter for the Uchiha clan. The Warring States period was chaotic. If you don't leave some temporary residences in the wild, you won't know how you will die. Not every family has the unreasonable insight of the Byakugan. In the context of the era when perceptive ninjas were extremely rare, the underground became almost the best shelter for all ninja families. If someone has the leisure time to go to the ancient battlefield, he will dig 10 pieces of land with a shovel, and there will be 1 or 2 holes under 7 of them. At that time, the 2 deadly families dug a hole that was actually separated by only a wall. Uchiha Manye found something similar. There must be no facilities, and the location is not good, because there is a village sentry point not far from the mountain road, and it is a secret sentry point. The location is also underground, and every hour, there will be a replacement to take over the shift. Many is afraid that Orochimaru will capture these people and sacrifice them, but even if this place is not good, as long as it is close to Konoha, it is enough for him to take a fancy to it. There are village ninjas a mile away. When Uchiha Manye was renovating, he could only make as little noise as possible. Earth escape is the best helper for renovating the basement. Uchiha Manye first made a seal and built a circle of soundproof walls to separate it, and then he completely let go. This shelter has not been inhabited for many years, and it is full of a strange smell. After clearing the area with wind escape and changing the air for 10 minutes, he walked down again. With the flame lighting, Uchiha Manye made a seal with one hand and cast the earth flow wall to lay the foundation for Orochimaru's future research base. The basement was expanded, and Manye roasted all the excess soil and debris into glass crystals, and filled them into the earth escape wall. The soil was not as good as the one in the back mountain of Konoha. Uchiha Manye searched for a long time, but couldn't find any good foundation materials. To read the exciting novel, go to Fly Novel Network. Half a day passed. Orochimaru found this base based on the marks left by Manye. Returning to Konoha again, Orochimaru's current state of mind is no longer the peace of mind of the past, but needs to be worried, but this was originally his own choice. What is there to be afraid of? When he returns to Konoha with the research results and tramples on the power that Sarutobi Hiruzen has regarded as everything in his life, he, Orochimaru, will tell his former teacher that the so-called power is nothing more than a toy for the strong. As strong as Hashirama, no matter how many conspiracies and tricks he has, what can he do? Even if you are as capable as me, I can break them all by myself. The more you live, the more confused you become. Sarutobi Hiruzen obviously forgot why he was elected Sarutobi Hiruzen in the first place. After many years of being a superior, Sarutobi Hiruzen had already lost his heart. Following the route map, he avoided the trap set by Uchiha Manye. After reaching the depths of the basement and lighting the underground torches, Orochimaru made a seal to summon the spirits and took out dozens of storage scrolls from the mouth of the snake. Okay, let's start the research. Half a month has passed. The fourth generation has been steady and steady. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen gave up power, he has transferred a group of old subordinates from the military to take over his direct umbu. As time goes by, more and more people forget that Orochimaru defected half a month ago and that Sarutobi Hiruzen deliberately gave his disciples a way out. In the seemingly harmonious Konoha, people's hearts are already covered with a layer of haze. Forget? How is it possible? Half a month ago, many families were torn apart because of this. The spectators who just watched the incident might still say so, but if they, who have experienced it firsthand, can easily say, forget it, they are too bad. They didn't show anything on their faces, because they knew that it was useless to say it. Don't they look at their opponents? Who are they? Orochimaru. Konoha's new S-class rebel ninja. Even if this powerful person stood in front of the villagers of Konoha and let them poke at will, they would probably be exhausted to death, but they couldn't hurt Orochimaru, not even a hair. Orochimaru's past deeds are clearly recorded in the Konoha Hall of Heroes. It's true that Orochimaru is a rebel ninja, but before he became a rebel ninja, he was also a Konoha hero. Merits and demerits cannot offset each other. Merits are merits, and demerits are demerits. Leaving a tablet for Orochimaru in the Hall of Heroes is also to commemorate the dead heroes of Konoha. Another one, Sarutobi Hiruzen. A big man that the villagers of Konoha will never have the chance to meet in their lifetime. If the various clans of Konoha had not tripped Danzo up, the parade would not even have been able to find the root's door. As the Dark Lord of Konoha, Danzo had long considered himself a dead man, and the only things recorded in the Hall of Heroes were his deeds before the age of 30. Chapter 82. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not to mention, the last Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. The villagers of Konoha have heard too many stories about this respected elder, not to mention just giving his disciples a way out. Even if Orochimaru was caught on the spot, Sarutobi Hiruzen could save him. This is the status of Hokage. The people mentioned above are stronger than each other, and their status is so high that one person overshadows the other. The villagers of Konoha below take their heads to deal with them. it is not enough to describe their delusion to hit a rock with an egg, and to overestimate their own strength. This feeling of powerlessness in the face of absolute strength is deeply pressed on the hearts of every villager of Konoha. What can you do if you are unwilling, and who will care if you are not convinced? For Sarutobi, Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo, who usually feel troublesome when they look at them, how can they take these ordinary villagers seriously? What they think in their hearts, Sarutobi, Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo will know better than them. The reason why they are too lazy to deal with it is that they believe that even if these people work hard for this for their whole lives, they can't hurt them at all. After half a month of calm, Minato was the initiator of a new round of turmoil. Don't treat everyone as fools. The commotion caused by Orochimaru's human experiment was too big. Minato believed that he knew something about Orochimaru. Although his uncle seemed cold on the surface, he was definitely not a crazy person. In the battle in the back mountain, Sarutobi, Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo concealed too many things about the arrest of Orochimaru. Since he couldn't find out, Minato could only investigate it himself. It didn't matter if he didn't investigate. When he investigated, he was shocked by the ninjas of the major families in the village. There were too many flaws in the whole incident. There were a lot of things hidden in Orochimaru's defection, and no one said anything. Minato originally thought that Sarutobi, Hiruzen or Shimura Danzo had warned him. Now it seems that no family has a clean hand. The case files are full of what the various clans of Konoha have done. Bloody and piercing. Those who hear it are terrified, and those who see it are shocked. Early in the morning, Uchiha Manye left Konoha. Orochimaru's research base, the entire underground space was filled with bottles and jars. A bunch of human specimens from nowhere were soaked in nutrient solution by Orochimaru, and data was recorded every day. Where did the people come from? Orochimaru didn't say, and Uchiha Manye didn't ask. He believed that Orochimaru still had a bottom line. Through the nutrient solution, Manye could also clearly see the muscle lines on these corpses. Obviously, they were not ordinary people, most of them were ninjas. Half a month later, the research on impure world reincarnation had a perfect soul body, Hatake Sakumo. Orochimaru's research progress was progressing rapidly. The Underground Research Institute now has more than Manye, Orochimaru, and Hatake Sakumo. There are more impure world bodies summoned back from hell by Orochimaru. The strength is not very strong, but it is enough for Orochimaru. He doesn't want these people to fight. As long as they can help record the laboratory data, these people will not lose their role. Orochimaru summoned these people's souls, firstly for training, and secondly to find a bunch of tools for himself. Before Orochimaru learned how to clone human bodies, impure world reincarnation would be his best way to recruit tools. Let's get started. After Uchiha Manye arrived, he asked Orochimaru to start, then turned his head and looked at Hatake Sakumo's soul. Are you ready? Hatake Sakumo smiled carefreely. After so many years, do you still need to prepare? In the core circle surrounded by dense spell runes, sat a ninja with sealed consciousness. The ninja village logo comes from the mist shadow. The spell is divided into 5 areas, engraved with the 4 runes of the impure world reincarnation, surrounding the living person sitting in the center. Finally, a circle of dirty soil was sprinkled on the spell runes. Hatake Sakumo's body came from the Konoha cemetery. Half a month ago, Uchiha Manye walked around the purpose and took some out. The formation was set up, and Uchiha Manye came in front of the person being cast. To read the exciting novels, go to Follow Novel Network. He had already got the impure world reincarnation hand seal from Orochimaru. The hand seals changed in sequence. Huge chakra energy flowed out of Uchiha Manye's body, spreading along the spell runes on the ground until it penetrated the formation. The gate of hell opened, and endless wronged souls and evil spirits opened their mouths at Manye with their teeth bared. Impure world reincarnation. Finally, Uchiha Manye clapped his hands together 11 times. Impure world reincarnation formation. An invisible force rose, passed through Hatake Sakumo's body, derived dozens of chains, and passed through the gate of hell, dingling, dangling. A crisp sound came out, and the chains continued to extend. Suddenly, Hatake Sakumo's soul body cracked a void, and the chains penetrated Sakumo's soul from top to bottom, binding him tightly. The impure earth chain penetrated the underworld, captured Hatake Sakumo from the human world and brought him back to hell, and then dragged him back to the human world from hell. Under the pressure of the technique, Hitachi Sakumo's soul sank into the impure earth body that Orochimaru had prepared for him. The moment Hitachi Sakumo entered the body, he left a talisman in the brain of the person being cast, and the spell was bright. At this time, Uchiha Manye had some vague induction with Hitachi Sakumo's impure earth body. How do you feel? As soon as the impure earth opened his eyes, Uchiha Manye asked. Hitachi Sakumo stood up, and wisps of black smoke surrounded his body. Strands of impure earth, sand and stones, coming from nowhere, kept falling. It's very strange. It feels completely different from my soul body. I have lost the ability to fly, and my strength is only about 70% of what it was before. Sensing himself, Hitachi Sakumo reported to Uchiha Manye that the impure world body's current strength. Not bad, I have made special treatments on the body that carries your soul, otherwise your strength would not even be 70%. Orochimaru came over after Manye finished the spell. Hitachi Sakumo nodded and thanked him. Thank you very much. No, your reincarnation also provided me with a good set of data. By the way, are you free these days? Orochimaru looked at Hitachi Sakumo and stole a glance at Uchiha Manye's body from the corner of his eye. In his opinion, these two guys were both excellent research subjects. He was just a friend, and the other one was now his boss, so it was difficult to cut him off. All the expenses of the base were now on Uchiha Manye. Hitachi Sakumo looked at Manye. He didn't really want to lie on Orochimaru's operating table. That shabby place was creepy, even for someone who had died once before. He still felt uncomfortable when he saw it. You decide for yourself. Uchiha Manye had no intention of interfering. As the boss of the team, he needed to treat everyone equally. Of course, he was not afraid that Orochimaru would pester him and ask for his body cells, so he pushed Hitachi Sakumo to block the knife. How many days? After a long while, Hitachi Sakumo made a decision. Now that he has been resurrected, there will be plenty of time in the future. If he doesn't deal with Orochimaru now, he will annoy him to death in the future. 3 days. Orochimaru's eyes gleamed with brilliance. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He walked around Hitachi Sakumo. Orochimaru scraped some dirty soil from him, sealed it in a bottle, and then knocked some human cells from his body. As time went by, Hitachi Sakumo descended into the human body and continued to evolve into the structure of dust. A strange object that was half dirty soil and half cell floated in Orochimaru's hand. After that, he also collected the black smoke that overflowed from Hitachi Sakumo. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried, there was no good way to store it. Sakumo, your body is now constantly transforming into a soil structure. Hurry up and get on the operating table. In at most an hour, you will no longer be a human being. Time was running out, and Orochimaru grabbed Hitachi's hand and rushed to the operating table. An hour later, Hitachi Sakumo, who had been disemboweled countless times, returned to Manye with an expressionless face. Are you okay? Fortunately I am no longer human. If a normal person's body were to be dissected by Orochimaru like mine, I doubt whether Orochimaru can put it back together. Hitachi Sakumo said with fear. The wounds on his body healed at a rapid speed after Orochimaru stopped operating. Through the gaps in the wounds, Uchiha Manye could clearly see that Hitachi Sakumo's body had become an empty can, and there was nothing inside the human body. What are your plans for the future? I don't know. After learning that he could be resurrected, Hitachi Sakumo had been looking forward to this day, but when all this really came true, he was confused. It was as if his obsession had dissipated and he didn't know what to do. Come and wear this. Uchiha Manye pulled out a white mask, which was similar to the one he wore at the beginning. Since you don't know what to do, I'll give you a task. Put on a mask to hide your identity, and keep an eye on Danzo. Kakashi has gone to the root, and Minato is now the Hokage, so you can't protect him all day. You can go see Kakashi, but remember not to reveal your identity. Now is not the time. This. Hitachi Sakumo was stunned. Kakashi was his last bond in this life. If it weren't for him, even if he was wandering around the family alone, he would never set foot in Konoha again. There were too many sorrows for him, and too many sorry friends who died. Does it fit? There's nothing wrong with that. Just make your own decision. Uchiha Manye gave the choice to Hatake Sakumo himself. After a long while, Hatake Sakumo nodded and said, "Okay, I'll go, Kakashi won't notice my presence." Well, that's it. His choice would not surprise Uchiha Manye. Thank you very much. Konoha. See you in Konoha. Hatake Sakumo seemed to have made up his mind, and he took one step after another to Orochimaru's underground laboratory. After he left, Orochimaru, who was watching from the side, clapped his hands and praised, "What a good move. You can make the arrogant Konoha White Fang surrender to you, and he is willing to do so. Uchiha Manye, you are really interesting." Uchiha Manye smiled indifferently and said, "I didn't do anything. I just let Hatake Sakumo choose what he wants to do most. As it happens, he figured it out himself, that's all." Really? Orochimaru looked at Manye with his pupils vertical. "Isn't it?" Uchiha Manye looked at him calmly. Before leaving, Manye remembered something, so he stopped and turned around and said, "By the way, Orochimaru, there will be a gift that you want most, which will be delivered to you soon. Remember to accept it when the time comes." "What gift?" Orochimaru was thinking about what he wanted most, and suddenly Uchiha Manye flashed by. What? Could it be that Uchiha Manye finally figured it out? To read the exciting novels, go to Falun Novel Network. He plans to devote himself to science and let me study his body. Thinking of this, Orochimaru's eyes revealed a hot and greedy look. The legendary Eye of the Immortal is about to be sent to his operating table. Who cannot be excited? Looking at Orochimaru's fanatical expression, Uchiha Manye always felt that he was thinking wrongly. What went wrong? Gift. Manye is accurate. What he prepared was the manuscript of the second generation's research on forbidden techniques. It was useless for him to hold that thing in his hands, and it would be a waste of resources to leave it to Danzo. Only by giving it to Orochimaru and letting this madman study it can it play its greatest role. At present, Uchiha Manye has two estimated places where the manuscript can be kept. One is Danzo. After the last time he made a big fuss, the root's vigilance became stricter at a speed visible to the naked eye. Manye has been squatting for several days, but has not found a suitable opportunity. If Hatake Sakumo is free, Uchiha Manye will let him go to the dungeon. As a master of assassination, Manye believed that his stealth ability was better than his own, and that he had much more free time than him. Hatake Sakumo went to the root with the intention of letting him see his son, and also to monitor Danzo, but more importantly, it was Manye who was obsessed with the root dungeon. The second-generation research manuscript might be in Danzo's hands. Another destination is the clan land of the Senju clan, but they are not easy to find. Since they moved out of Konoha, the Senju clan has been silent, and until now, few people know where they went. 3 The elder may know something, and Tsunade, but as for her, I am afraid she will never go back in this life. These two places, one is hard to enter, and the other is hard to find. I can only spend time to see when it is possible, and catch a dead mouse. I will catch one if I catch one. Konoha. After handling a day's official business, Minato leaned back tiredly in the office chair. He was thinking, what should he do with this small clan in Konoha? Namake's Minato still remembers the bloody murder of the villagers of Konoha. In his eyes, ninjas and Konoha villagers are all equal. People are not born to be ordinary people. Although Minato has never met his parents, he is still grateful because they gave him the best gift of his life. Minato was brought to Konoha because he had the talent to become a ninja. Because of Konoha, he can have what he has today. Thinking about these headaches, Minato felt that he should listen to the advice of his master. Sitting on the position of Hokage, the third generation has experienced far more storms than him for so many years. It is not without reason that if there is an old man in the family, there is a treasure. Although Minato Namikaze is investigating the case of Orochimaru's defection, it has not become known to everyone. But for the Konoha ninja clan, it is not much different. The families with truly clean hands and feet can only be counted on 2 hands. The big families above are gloating and watching all this happen. There are not many people who know about the human experiment. Most of the big families are busy placing family members to avoid being uprooted by Minato. Chapter 84. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As night falls, Konoha is still peaceful today. the fight between the various family forces has not extended to ordinary people. This is Minato's bottom line and Konoha's bottom line. However, the ninja family has always looked down on ordinary people. Except for the madman Danzo, who would drag the people of Konoha into the power struggle as if he had taken the wrong medicine, the other families are still very disciplined. The stage of the ninja world belongs only to ninjas. As for ordinary people, they are just a bonus, just like the passers-by in every Dragon Quest story. A, B, C, and D, they isolate the protagonist, exclaim, and die 4 or 5 times from time to time to provide the protagonist with sufficient anger. The last wave pushed down the boss, and the world once again restored stability and harmony. But this time, the dead will not be resurrected, and the wandering singers who spread the stories of the brave adventures will not mention the world-destroying war of that year. How many people fell forever in the 373 yesterday before the dawn? Hero, Uchiha Manye can't say he hates it, but he himself will never do it. Only a fool would take a thankless position. Taking advantage of the night, Uchiha Manye and Hitaki Sakumo sneaked into the periphery of the route. Today, the two planned to join forces to explore again. The last time they alerted the enemy, Danzo was much more vigilant. The handover time of the sentry on the road has become a complete secret. Of the route, ranging from 10 to 30 minutes, before the handover, the person who takes over the shift must report the handover code reserved before departure. Today's route has really armed the patrol team to the teeth. Through the eye of insight, Uchiha Manye clearly saw that the number of detonating tags buried underground as mines was not at the same level as the last time. The dark corners of the route are covered with silk threads, and one thread connects the detonating tags on one side. By visual inspection, the rope has a certain weight. Even if it is cut off by someone, the detonating tag connected to the wall will automatically trigger the explosion after being pulled by the rope. Is Danzo crazy? Uchiha Manye looked at everything in front of him with interest. Aren't you afraid of blowing yourself up? Hitaki Sakumo cast a puzzled look. He did not have the ability to discern chakra energy, and what Uchiha Manye saw was still the same in his eyes. There are many traps. Although they are not very powerful, I think they are enough to serve as a warning. Hitaki Sakumo expressed his opinion. Uchiha Manye knew more about these than he did. Hitaki Sakumo could only judge by feeling, while Manye directly converted the visual map. However, looking at the large and small warning measures of the route, a bold idea suddenly came to Manye's mind. I have an idea. After instructing Hitaki Sakumo on what he needed to prepare, Uchiha Manye left the route first. Uchiha clan land. Manye, who had returned, asked for the armory order from his eldest brother. Uchiha Manye walked into the detonating talisman warehouse. His eyes were less than the scrolls on the shelves used to store detonating talismans. He began to estimate the number of scrolls he needed to use. These scrolls were not fine products and the storage space was not large, but they were just right for storing disposable consumables such as detonating talismans, especially paper talismans, which are currently the most widely circulated storage scrolls on the market. The scroll catalog had 1, followed by 1,000. One scroll cost 1,000. There were about 10,000 storage shelves, which was worthy of being a wealthy family. They were generous, although not as generous as when Conan fought against Obito, who threw out 60 million at one time. 10 million was not a small amount. Uchiha Manye took 10 scrolls. Back to the route, Hitaki Sakumo stood on the high ground and looked at the outer edge of the route, where there were the least patrol personnel. When Manye told him about his idea, he was also shocked. Using a detonating talisman to blow up the route, this is crazy, right? To read exciting novels, go to Fly Novel Network. This is Konoha. If you throw a brick to kill 10 people, 7 of them have a ninja relative. With such a large base, the strong people who continue to stand out have made the foundation of Konoha. When you come to Konoha to make trouble, the first thing you consider is not whether it can be successful, but how to get out alive. After finally reincarnating into a superior person, who would be willing to come to Konoha to die? But Uchiha Manye didn't think so. Hitaki Sakumo didn't know how Danzo had offended him, and Manye would make trouble for him every few days. Hitaki Sakumo himself didn't reject it. What happened back then? The Hitaki family was the #1 thug of the 3rd generation, and Danzo, who was dissatisfied with the 3rd generation, how could he not have participated in it? How's it going? Uchiha Manye came back with the detonating talisman. 7 nodes, this, that, and these few places. Hitaki Sakumo took out the distribution map of the root bases he had drawn temporarily and pointed out some weak spots to many. Today, I will first collect some interest from Danzo. If I can kill you, I will. If I can't, don't be impulsive. Uchiha Manye patted Hitaki Sakumo on the shoulder. The grudge between him and Konoha cannot be explained in a few words. Today, Manye plans to make a big news. He has been unhappy with the root for a long time. After the battle half a month ago, Uchiha Manye clearly felt that more people were monitoring the Uchiha family. At first, he thought that Obito had done something and was caught. In the end, he was the one being targeted. In the battle in the valley, although Manye did not show his characteristic domineering, there were only so many masters in the ninja world. The third generation and Danzo checked around and finally found him. Not only that, these two guys who were too suspicious also monitored Minato, and they were obviously not at ease with him. It's called protection. The people in the third generation of Umbu might not be enough for Minato to kill, so why protect him? But Minato is also a person who pretends to be confused. Hands, just pretend nothing happened, look at it however you want, he is upright and has nothing to fear. Namake's Minato is not afraid, but Uchiha Manye is. He has a lot of shameful things on his body. Recently, except for staying in the clan land where the Umbu and Root ninjas cannot enter, as long as he appears in the rest of Konoha, there will be a bunch of people squatting on the roofs behind him. He was so angry that he wanted to find a poor guy to vent his anger, and Danzo was a good choice. Unlike the third generation, Sarutobi Hiruzen, as a former Hokage, still has to save face. If he touches him, many will not have a peaceful life in the future. It's not that he is afraid of being caught, but if Sarutobi Hiruzen gets into trouble, the whole Konoha will have to be under martial law. At that time, he wants to sign in and punch in quietly in various places in Konoha, or make trouble. But it will not be as simple as today. Hitaki Sakumo is ready. After Uchiha Manye nodded, he followed the map and began to set up the formation. Chapter 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 10 streets away, Uchiha Manye summoned a scroll. The storage scroll was not big, but it was not small either. 60 of these things added up were better than him. How could he carry this thing with him? Before leaving, Manye prepared a summoning spell at home to facilitate him to take it out. A storage scroll was opened, and 1,000 detonating talismans were connected to Uchiha Manye's consciousness through the scroll. As long as he wanted, the detonating talismans could appear in his hand at any time. The number, location, and number can all be controlled by consciousness. It's a very convenient ability. Let's try 10 pieces first. The paper overlapped, and Uchiha Manye pulled the paper into silk. Relying on the mutual multiplication of the detonating talisman formation, he changed the existence form of the detonating talisman and turned the paper into silk. The pitch-black runes wrapped around the silk thread and formed a circle and hung diagonally on the palm of Manye's hand. It was okay to succeed once. The system is still quite powerful, seeing that there was no mistake in his operation. Uchiha Manye opened fire directly. 10 scrolls were opened at the same time, and tens of thousands of detonating talismans connected consciousness. They were pulled out from scroll 05 one by one. Gradually, the detonating talisman threads were intertwined and gathered into ropes, leaving the detonating talismans with space for mutual explosion. The natural energy structure was triggered and was stripped off in advance by Uchiha Manye. He wanted to blow up Danzo, but he didn't intend to blow up Konoha directly. Uchiha Manye was thinking about the body of Hashirama and the root dungeon. The detonating talisman threads soaked in nutrient solution. They belonged to the same type as Manye's current hand rubbing, but there were some differences in the formation. Manye did not intend to pull the natural energy under the dungeon. On the contrary, he also did a big favor to Bangzo. There was a time bomb lying under the feet of the hole, and it was fortunate that Danzo could sleep. Finally, Uchiha Manye still needed to cast an illusion to add a buff to this pile of silk ropes. He was not so stupid as to release it directly on the root ninja. The barrier of the root is no less than the formation for protecting the village of Konoha. Last time, he took a quick look at it. Even he, who inherited part of the knowledge of the second generation, could not understand it. The illusion attached to the detonating talisman thread is also simple. It is mainly a hint, so that people who see it will consciously ignore the existence of these threads. So far, Uchiha Manye's first step has been officially completed. Next, hand the detonating talisman thread to the shadow clone. Connect it to the trap prepared by the root, and it will be fine. Time passed slowly. Hundreds of Uchiha Manye's shadow clones manipulated the detonating talisman thread and infiltrated the outer periphery of the root. The inner periphery is not within the scope of consideration. Danzo's paranoia is too serious. Manye is afraid of something going wrong, so it is better to be conservative. Under the heavenly and earthly net, some difficult to handle positions, Uchiha Manye even used the power of the sky hand to replace the space, put himself into the root, and do it himself. The night is creepy. Deep in the dungeon, Danzo suddenly woke up from his dream. Why do I have the illusion that a disaster is about to happen? Danzo walked around the bedroom uneasily, taking steps and hesitating. His bedroom was originally on the ground, but after Manye used fire escape to submerge 2/3 of the root, he immediately moved underground. The outside world is too dangerous, and Danzo can only enjoy a moment of peace when he is deep in the dungeon. I don't know why he feels uncomfortable even in the dungeon today. Where can he go next time? Konan used 60 million to blow up Uchiha Obito, so today, Uchiha Manye will use 60,000 detonating talismans to send the root to the sky, so that Danzo will not be idle all day and night and trouble him. 10,000 detonating talismans were sent into the ground of the root, and the remaining 50,000 were used for spiritual communication to maintain the existence of the formation. For safety reasons, before detonating the detonating talisman, Uchiha Manye took Hokage Sakumo and ran away. Explode! Hundreds of shadow clones made a mark with their hands, a detonation gesture that Uchiha Manye had set beforehand. Boom! The moment the detonating talisman exploded, it was dawn. Red mushroom smoke rose, and a strong and hot light column rushed into the sky. The smoke was vast and boundless. To read the exciting novel, go to Falun Novel Network. The surging air waves raged from the center of the explosion, evaporating all the facilities and buildings along the way. Countless root patrol ninjas who had no time to react were evaporated into ashes in an instant. The earth cracked layer by layer, and the hole was as deep as the abyss. At the edge of the hole, the minerals of the evolutionary circle evaporated and formed a crystal wall layer squeezed by the shock wave. Tonight, anyone who was still awake witnessed all of this. The huge roar spread across most of Konoha. There was an open space around the root, which was convenient for Danzo to hide and for Uchiha Manye to take action. It is easier to fish in muddy water. The air waves carried sand and stones, and with the heat waves, covered an area of 10 miles, the air wave hit the edge, and hundreds of houses and window lights were shattered by the vibration waves. The momentum was extremely huge. Is this what you mean by under control? Hokage Sakumo stared dumbfoundedly at the roots that had been razed to the ground. Something unexpected happened. I didn't expect the power of the detonating talisman to be so strong. Yes, this is the result of Uchiha Manye stopping. At the wrong moment, he interrupted the summoning of the detonating talisman. Otherwise, if 60,000 detonating talismans exploded at the same time, he might really be killed. This second generation is too unreliable. The power and the system transmission memory are completely different. This is not important. Hurry up and do it. I'm going to the number 7 laboratory, you go to the number 3, and if you have time, the number 9 can also go. Now there is an unexpected plan. Manye originally planned to blow up half of the root into the sky first, and take advantage of the chaos in the root to fight a bloody way out with Hokage Sakumo. As for stealth, if all the enemies are killed, no one will know about 737, right? The flowing air waves blew away the huge natural energy of the underground number 7 laboratory, although there are still many remnants, compared with the last time when he came, the terrifying degree that could send the entire Konoha into the sky. Now this is nothing. The chance may only be this time, there will not be a third time. Danzo can't give many chances again and again. After receiving the order, Hokage Sakumo put on his hood and flew straight to the dilapidated 3rd Avenue. The target is the number 3 laboratory. Uchiha Manye replaced the space with ease and disappeared on the surface. He had been here once before, so this time, he didn't need to explore the way again. Research Institute number 7. Danzo didn't have the ability to move for the time being, which was a good opportunity for Uchiha Manye. The formation of the multiplication of the detonation talismans blew up so many underground spaces that Manye didn't have time to calculate before he arrived at the destination. He appeared, and before the root ninja guarding the research institute could react, 10,000 things attracted. The terrifying suction force exploded all over Uchiha Manye's body, like white skeleton claws leading to the abyss, tightly grasping these people. Without the ability to fight back, he was dragged in front of Manye's eyes, lightning flashed in the palm of his hand, and the jumping arcs kept making pleasant bird calls. The hand seal was completed in an instant, and the beautiful bird calls made a piercing scream, as if thousands of birds were wailing together. Chapter 86. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dazzling thunder pierced the sky, and 7 heads flew high. No blood flowed from the throat of the person who was wiped by the Chidori, the scorching heat swept through the human body cells, and then the wound was cooked and the surging blood solidified. Stepping over the corpse, a ninja holding a kunai on his head cut Manye's throat diagonally. A Shinra Tensei, with no blind spot protection, hit the supporting ninja and killed him on the spot. This is the treatment of the supporting and the protagonist. In the battle half a month ago, the 3rd generation took at least 7 Shinra Tensei, but he was not injured at all. He even survived to the end and had the energy to try to fight back. The entire underground is an amusement park for Uchiha Manye. He can come and go as he pleases, as if he is in an uninhabited place, crushing all the way. Blood flows like a river. Countless figures fell on both sides of the tunnel. Along the way, Manye didn't meet any masters. With a move of Wanxiang Tianin and Shinra Tensei, there were corpses everywhere. It feels like he is almost done with Shinra Tensei, a minor quality inspector. If he can survive this attack, he will probably have a name in the original novel. His strength is obvious, and he is not comparable to ordinary trash. Uchiha Manye actually had to use 2 moves in a row to kill someone, which is terrifying. Kill until there is no one left, and then dare to come again. Uchiha Manye stood at the door of the number 7 laboratory, with the Nine-magatama Samsara Eyes opened, looking into the laboratory, and detonating the talisman thread structure. This is a good thing. After being soaked in Hashirama's body for so many years, no matter how rotten it is, it can be turned into treasure. Although the Hashirama soaking in the laboratory is just a left hand, it is still a part of Senju Hashirama's body. A bunch of cells have been doing things for half a lifetime. How bad can a hand be? The sealing scroll is ready, and Manye has no intention of touching Hashirama's body. Uchiha Manye has arrived at the destination. Hatake Sakumo is almost there. Compared with Manye's violent years of crushing, Hatake Sakumo's actions are relatively elegant. Invisible black shadows shuttled through the tunnels, leaving traces behind. All the root ninjas along the way had a thin red line on their throats, holding a knife to cut open the door of the laboratory. Hatake Sakumo stepped into it, and the broken stone door fell to the ground with a sound, causing vibrations, accidentally disturbing the guard standing outside the door. The vibrations were transmitted, and the heads of each ninja fell to the ground one after another like dominoes. Headless corpses fell to the ground one after another, and blood continued to gather. Forming a pool of blood of moderate size, the stones used for the walls and barriers of laboratory number 7 were all diamond rocks, and the decapitation technique in my mind could not sneak in. I still need to rely on the power of the heavenly hand of the Rinnegan. Time and space ninjutsu is really convenient. He is proficient in sneaking in and stealing accounts, using the water prison technique. Water vapor is drawn from the outside to isolate the nutrient solution filled with impurities from Hashirama's cells in the laboratory. Memorizing the arrangement of the detonating talisman threads, Uchiha Manye fell into the water prison and threw out a row of shuriken, which cut through the water flow and nailed into the surrounding walls at the same time. After unlocking the most dangerous trigger formation, Uchiha Manye's speed became faster and faster, and the threads disappeared rapidly. He pulled them up by the roots and put them all into his pocket. Time is limited, and Danzo can find the problem in a matter of seconds. The ground base of the root was inexplicably blown away by a cannon. Danzo has not recovered yet. Outside the root, the power of the ninja family gathered, and the 4th and 3rd generations of the Umbu masters all arrived to ask Danzo what happened. The people above were wasting time, while Uchiha Manye and the 2 underground were racing against time to take away all the harvest as much as possible. The masters of the root were seriously scattered. Laboratory No. 7 is the special one among the special ones of the root. If it is not necessary, no one is willing to get close to it, who would not be afraid of a bomb that can blow Konoha up at any time. After a tour of the laboratory, only Hashirama's body was left. Uchiha Manye's sealing technique was not very good, and he could use it, but it was his first time facing a strong man of Hashirama's level. The formation was performed, and dense rune chains wrapped around Hashirama's body. The last seal fell, and the body disappeared and was collected by many in the sealing scroll. Success at the first time. I'm lucky today. However, it's not time to get carried away. The sealing scroll did contain Hashirama's body, but judging from the constantly flashing and gradually disappearing runes on the scroll's surface, this thing is no worse than the second generation of the multiplication detonation talisman formation. To read the exciting novel, go to Fulu Novel Network. It's time to run away. At this time, the surface of the root is absolutely full of Konoha masters. Uchiha Manye wants to return the same way, and Minato and his people can scatter his ashes. At this time, we still have to rely on the invincible time and space ninjutsu. When Uchiha Manye was replacing space, Namake's Minato, who stayed on the surface, suddenly looked underground while listening to the Umbu personnel questioning the root survivors. The place he was looking at was the No. 7 laboratory where Uchiha Manye replaced space and space-time fluctuations appeared. However, Minato was not strong enough to clearly see the extent of space-time fluctuations from the bottom floor 30 meters away. He just felt it and took a look subconsciously. The aura of the strong gathered on the surface became more and more intense. Uchiha Manye did not dare to wander around underground. Through the induction of the impure world reincarnation, he directly located the position of Hitachi Sakumo. He was still in the No. 3 laboratory and there was no sign of leaving for the time being. Between 2 points, the straight line is the shortest. The space was constantly replaced, and Manye jumped towards the area where he was. Bang! After Uchiha Manye appeared, Hitachi Sakumo's throat was cut in front of him, which was a sure kill. If Hitachi Sakumo had the full strength before, Manye would have no good way to deal with it except using Shinra Tensei. Hitachi Sakumo's swordsmanship is all about speed. When he is fast to the extreme, he can cut through anything. It's me. Uchiha Manye spoke in time as the kunai pointed at him. Fortunately, Hitachi Sakumo didn't have a sword, otherwise the kunai in his hand would not be able to withstand it. Why are you here? Didn't you say we'd see each other after we got out? Hitachi Sakumo put down his guard, and his hands were busy, filling in the materials in the laboratory. Lee's was good, while chatting with Manye. The plan has changed. The Konoha masters are coming too fast. You are trapped underground and it is difficult to escape. As he said this, Manye threw out a scroll. The one that was previously used to hold the detonating talismans was now empty. Reverse summoning can't be used. There are too many guard barriers here. Use this. What's all this here? Looking at the full shelf of file bags, Uchiha Manye asked curiously. I also found some of the materials that Danzo has studied about the blood boundary over the years, as well as the manuscripts of the second-generation master. Hitachi Sakumo replied. Then hurry up, we have to leave after taking this layer. The longer it takes, the more dangerous it will be. For storage scrolls were thrown out, and Uchiha Manye and he took 5 each. Finally, the bloody smell of the dungeon spread out. Chapter 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the surface, after the root ninja reported, Danzo Shimura's face changed. Shimura Danzo, what are you still hesitating about? What happened in the dungeon? Sarutobi Hiruzen saw his face changing and asked. Shimura Danzo hesitated whether to say it or not. The dungeon had calmed down, and the thief was still unknown. The unknown visitor blew up the root silently, and Shimura Danzo was scared. Fortunately, he hid in the dungeon, otherwise he would have lost at least half his life today. Let's go, Sarutobi, remember, it's only tonight. Shimura Danzo looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen gloomily. As long as the other party didn't nod, don't even think about making him speak. I see. What losses did the root suffer? Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. The most urgent thing was not to be angry with Shimura Danzo. Although he was greedy, Shimura Danzo had had the things in his hands for a long time, but at this juncture, it was not the time to talk about these things. The key was to quickly solve the problem and catch the desperate criminal. Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to see which guy was so desperate that he ran to Konoha to cause trouble. Half of the research data on the bloodstained boundary was lost. The person who came was a master, guarding the laboratory, but he died before he could even escape a single move from the other party. Take us down, not just by listening, he could tell that Sarutobi Hiruzen planned to go to the scene. 217 Okay, but Minato needs to stay. What did you say? Shimura Danzo's expression changed from side to side, and Sarutobi Hiruzen was very annoyed. There are too many important things. Even the water gate is down. There is no master left on the ground. I am worried about thieves. Shimura Danzo's words were to remind Sarutobi Hiruzen how many things the root had that were not to be seen in public. He knew it in his heart. Judging from Minato's personality, if he was going to do something, neither of them would want to see it. Secondly, it was to prevent Minato from leaving the Flying Thunder God mark after going to the dungeon. As for the thieves running away, if the various tribes on the ground could not be delayed for a second, they would be killed by the thieves. Is it necessary to be sneaky when you are so strong? Master, I'll be fine if I stay here. Minato was considerate and didn't embarrass Sarutobi Hiruzen. He saw the vigilance in the eyes of the two. Okay, thank you for your help. Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. If Minato insisted on going, he and Shimura Danzo were not qualified to say no. After all, the current Hokage is him, not Sarutobi Hiruzen. The root of Konoha, the Hokage cannot go, but the previous Hokage can go without any obstacles. It's hard not to think too much. CBDB, tonight, Uchiha Manye reaped a lot. It emptied out Shimura Danzo's half-life savings. Things like bloodline boundary are useless to many, but there is a great scientist in the team. Scientists, the eternal gods. Uchiha Manye now has all 5 escape techniques, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't want other escape techniques. What does bloodline boundary mean? The whole. In the ninja world, the only people who can figure it out are probably the second generation and Orochimaru. The second generation is already dead, so who else can they give the things to if not Orochimaru? Shimura Danzo has studied it for his entire life, but he still can't figure it out. All he knows how to do all day is implant and sew. He has a circle of Sharingan tied around his body, but he doesn't seem to be that strong. In the end, he even lost his life trying to seal a bridge. It's really embarrassing. Apart from transplanting a bunch of things that don't belong to him onto his body, he hasn't produced any results. By the way, I remember that this operation to transplant the Sharingan was performed by Orochimaru himself, so he has lived a miserable life for half his life and has nothing. Senior Shoamao, I need to trouble you again. After running out of the dungeon with Hatake Tsukumo, Uchiha Manye called out to the figure in front of him. Don't worry, I know. Hatake Tsukumo nodded and raised the storage scroll in his hand. It's easy to talk to smart people. Before you finish your words, the other party knows what you are going to do. One more thing, if Kakashi leaves the village, you can also follow him. Remember to inquire about the whereabouts of the Senju clan on the way. Okay, I'll remember that. Uchiha Manye entrusted the task of finding the Senju to Hatake Tsukumo. To read the exciting novels, go to Falun Novel Network. In the short term, he couldn't leave Konoha for too long. Outside, Black Zetsu and Obito, the ungrateful wolf, stared at Itachi with eager eyes, and there was Shisui, the guy who didn't know what to say. One after another, they stared at Itachi and fooled him. To be honest, no matter how talented Itachi was, there was no reason for him to be targeted when he was still a child. There are many geniuses who died young in this world. There was only one reason why Obito targeted Itachi, Uchiha Manye Fugaku. The current head of the Uchiha clan, he dotes on Itachi to the bone. He was willing to die at Itachi's hands. Otherwise, considering his strength, with Obito reaping the rewards, preserving some Uchiha bloodline would definitely not be a big problem, but he just did nothing. If Konoha wanted to be worthy of the village and the clan, Fugaku would have slaughtered those disloyal clan members himself. It's a pity that it's not that the Uchiha didn't know what was good for them, but that Konoha after Sarutobi Hiruzen came to power was just a piece of shit. Bidding farewell to Hatake Tsukumo, Uchiha Manye returned home. Welcome back. Yomuran was waiting for him at home, and there were some midnight snacks on the table. Why are not you sleeping? There's so much noise outside, I can't sleep even if I want to. Yakido smiled, took the clothes from Uchiha Manye, and put them on the hanger for him. after someone came home, Uchiha Manye went to Fugaku's house less and less, the time he spent with Yakido increased sharply. Minato will solve it. Forget about these unlucky things. Did you know that your sister-in-law is pregnant? Uchiha Manye chatted about family matters. After coming to the Uchiha clan land by Wooden Man, he decided not to let her get involved in the storms outside. It's too tiring to live like that. He can handle everything. Really? Yumuto's eyes lit up. When Itachi came to visit, she often pinched Itachi's baby fat and kneaded it hard. How many months? I just got pregnant, Itachi is going to have another brother. I'll go say congratulations. Wait a minute. What's wrong? Why don't you check what time it is now? After supper, Many and the others went back to the room to rest. Sasuke is about to be born, and Naruto won't be much slower. The time for the plot to begin is getting closer and closer. It is still unclear what the future will be like. All Uchiha Manye can do is to make every effort to become stronger. If he had the strength to step on Uchiha Madara and punch Senju Hashirama, what plot would Uchiha Manye care about? Whether it starts or not, he can just kill to Madara's lair and destroy Black Zetsu to the ground. Nothing will happen. Outside Konoha, Hatake Sakumo came to Orochimaru's research base with a storage scroll. After putting the things down, he left without looking back. Regardless of Orochimaru's repeated calls, he was like a heartless scum who abandoned his wife and children. Chapter 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the early morning, the humidity from last night has not completely dissipated. The sound of morning exercise could be heard in Uchiha Fugaku's courtyard. Kunai kept hitting the target, making a clanging sound. Uchiha Manye got up early again today. The habit formed from years of morning exercise is not so easy to change. Unlike in the past, he came to find Itachi on purpose this morning. Because he felt the breath of Obito in the Uchiha clan's territory. This guy didn't sleep in the early morning and came to see Shota. Uchiha Manye seriously suspected that this guy was not only crazy, but also perverted. He coveted someone's body and even coveted a child. Do you have any shame? If there was nothing Uchiha Manye could do to him, he would not be named Uchiha in the future if he didn't come to the door and fight him. It seems that he didn't have a surname to begin with, that's it. Knock on the door of Uchiha Fugaku's house. Uchiha Itachi trotted over. Uncle, the door opened. Itachi didn't need to look, he knew who was coming. Up so early again. Manye entered the house and closed the gate. Uchiha Itachi's face showed a serious look. School is about to start, I need to improve my strength quickly. Why? Uchiha Manye asked. I want to graduate early, and I also want to see what ninjas are in my uncle's world. It's a bit silly to think about these things at such a young age. More than 99% of the people in the ninja world have never thought about this in their lives, but Itachi has been pursuing it tirelessly. Ninja. Uchiha Manye rubbed his head. How to say it? It can be noble or lowly, it can kill people or save people. Open up mountains and cut off seas, create fields and plant forests. Whether it is good or evil depends on the person with this power. After listening, Uchiha Itachi fell into deep thought. His young brows were tightly locked, as if he wanted to squeeze out something. Why? Why? I want to know this question too. Uchiha Manye smiled. Uchiha Itachi shook his head. This was not what he wanted to say. This world has never been peaceful. He already knew it on the first day of school. No, uncle, what I want to say is, why can ninjas become so powerful, but the villagers of Konoha can't? Why can't they become ninjas? Don't their school teachers teach ninjutsu? Uchiha Manye didn't know how to explain Itachi's question to him for a while. Since the birth of the Six Paths Sage, ninjas have been endowed with the ability to refine chakra by some people. They are completely a deformed product of close relatives. Because of the existence of chakra, even if close relatives marry, the genes of the children will not be affected by genetic diseases. Chakra has changed too many things, no one can tell how the Hinata and Uchiha were born, but it is probably related to Kagaya Otsutsuki. If you want to explain these things to Itachi, Uchiha Manye is worried that he can't understand them without arranging a biology course schedule, speaking of which, Orochimaru is quite suitable to be Itachi's teacher. Sasuke was trained by him, although he has no good intentions. There is no doubt that the level of teaching disciples in the Hokage lineage is the best choice. Minato is a special case. He was speechless. He left too early. When Uchiha Manye was worried about how to explain to Itachi, there was some movement from underground, Black Zetsu. Uchiha Manye was the first to notice the secret door on the Hokage rock. He used the sealing technique to intercept a wisp of Black Zetsu's breath. He certainly didn't have the ability to chase people, but for early warning, Manye's current level was still quite good. Sealing technique, in the Naruto world, is almost a bug. If you can't figure out everything, seal it. What if Kagaya Otsutsuki can't beat him? Seal the sky. Do you see the moon? The coffin of your ancestors. What if the tailed beast is unreliable? Still sealing technique. The Jinchuriki opened it like this. Uchiha Manye thought that Black Zetsu should also fall for this, but he didn't know how to do it. Underground, Black Zetsu possessed Obito and took him through the underground of Konoha. To read exciting novels, go to Fulu Novel Network. Uchiha Manye, did you take a look here? Black Zetsu suddenly looked up. How is it possible that there is still someone in this world who can discover your existence? Obito looked unconvinced, thinking that Black Zetsu was being suspicious. Indeed, Black Zetsu was not good at other things, but he had been using the word hidden since the Warring States period. If he didn't want to be discovered, even if Hashirama and Madara joined forces, they wouldn't be able to find any trace of him. What a sharp intuition. Uchiha Manye remained calm, retracted his prying eyes, and only relied on his observation haki to sense the movement underground. Uncle, Itachi. Uchiha waited for a long time, but no one answered. You will know this problem when you grow up. Now is not the time yet. Please give me flowers. Uchiha Manye doesn't want to think about it. Itachi looks so sad at such a young age. What can he do if he knows it? Can you change it? Orochimaru may be able to do it, but Itachi is too young. Children should be like children. If they think too much, they will easily become bald. Uchiha Itachi. He wanted to say that he was not a child anymore, but when Manye's eyes fell on him, he instinctively closed his mouth. He was inexplicably scared and had no idea why. Is this kid so important? Can you come every day, watch him every day? Is he really that good-looking? Black Zetsu looked at Itachi chatting with Uchiha Manye and complained to Obito, you will be shocked if you don't hear it. Come every day. Watch him every day. How much do you two perverts want Itachi's body? He is still a child. How can you do that? Uchiha Manye was speechless in his heart and complained. Of course, the person I like is important. That when you said this, Obito, didn't you feel something was wrong? With Uchiha Manye watching you, how are you going to do it? Black Zetsu doesn't care about Obito's mental health. He can't stay around this child all day long. As long as he shows a flaw, it's my chance. Obito raised his head expressionlessly. Since Lin's death, he looked dead day by day, as if he had lost everything without Lin. The power that supported him to this day was called hatred. He hated the injustice of God, hated Kakashi's incompetence, and hated why Minato Namikaze was always one step behind. At the same time, he hated himself, why he was always so weak and couldn't change anything. If he wanted to change the world, he needed strength. Lin was everything to Obito. For her, he could do anything, but I don't know if Obito had ever asked Lin once, did she want all this? Things imposed on others, saying that they were for Lin, were actually for the little bit in his heart, the obsession that he couldn't explain. If he really wanted to do it for Lin, it would be very simple, just find her soul and ask it once. But did Obito dare? He didn't dare. It was because he understood Lin that he kept deceiving himself about what kind of world Lin wanted.